Hey guys, welcome back to the X-Ring. On today's episode, we're going to review another knife by Microtech Knives. Big shout out to those guys providing the knife for testing. I am going to be mean to this Combat Troodon. So guys, the Combat Troodon has been around for a while. I'm very familiar with this knife. I've actually been carrying one for quite a while now. I actually have one back from 2013. But this is a rather large knife. But for some guys, they want a knife that's a little larger than an Ultratech. Comparing it to an Ultratech, you can see it is not only taller, but it's also wider here in the body, and it's also a little fatter. Correct pronunciation is a Combat Troodon. Troodon means wounding tooth, or it's kind of like a dinosaur tooth. But this is 9.5 inches long, so it is not a small knife. Weighs in at 5.3 ounces, still uses the 6061 T6 aluminum handle, still comes with a full lifetime warranty, and this is the double edge, the DE plain edge. There are no serrations on this. And so guys, pay attention to the serial number because this is the one we're starting with, this is the one we'll finish with. I hate what we're going to do to this knife, but it's all in the art of testing, right? On the back side, you do have the tungsten glass break. And before we start the test straight out of the box, here what we're going to do is go ahead and test to make sure that the blade is actually sharp. There's one side, there's the other side. So we just tested both. Now guys, this is an older knife. This was provided, this used to be used for their photo sessions. And this does have the LMAX steel. Everything now is made with the Carpenter CTS 204P steel. They're very similar in properties, good edge retention. So let's go ahead and put this thing to the test. But just like my other tests, we're going to use the tubular webbing. This is not strap material off of a cinch strap. This is rated for about 5,000 pounds. So let's go ahead and check it on both sides here. Okay, that's clean through and through. We're going to do the other side here. I believe it was this way now. No problem. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double this up. So now that I've got it doubled up, we are going to just pull straight through this way. All right, so here we go. All right, so this thing is crazy, crazy sharp. All right, guys, so on these DEs, the only thing I can recommend is if you're ever pressing, don't put your thumb on the backside. I know it sounds very basic, but a lot of guys will do that with these DEs. I do have a water bottle here. I want to go ahead and see if I can cut through it and see how that works. So here we go. And there you go, clean through and through on the bottle itself. Just like that. And guys, if this thing breaks during the testing, you guys can see the water on the blade, then so be it. It will be an unbiased review of this. And all right, let's do some more to it. Same knife, I'll go ahead and show you this. 21829. Next thing we're going to do is the nail test. So we did the cut test on paper, we did the cut test on the tubular webbing. We cut through the water bottle. Let's go ahead and drive this in like a nail. Broke my hammer. That's how cold it is out here. All right, guys, so that's all the way in just like a nail. And you guys can see that. I'm going to try to do this one continuous run. Maybe I can do this with it. Actually, that's actually not even coming out, so let's let me work it out like this. All right, so straight out of there, what I'm doing is I'm getting that wood fiber off of there. You guys can see this. All right, here we go. Getting ready to try it. No problem whatsoever. So, we're going to continue the test. So we're kind of making this up as we go along, but this is a piece of siding. It is metal, it's aluminum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp it to this. We're going to take the Combat, 21829, and we're just going to poke it through. And what I'm going to do is just pull on this. All right, that's one side. There's the second side. All right, so you guys can see this had a Cerakoted blade. I want you guys to see it on the blade. I'm not going to actuate it yet. Same serial number. There we go. So yeah, good test. The Cerakote did kind of peel off, but that's a pretty tough test for it. Let's figure out what else we can do with this knife. So for the next test, what I've got is some genuine retired fire hose. And what I want to do is see if we can cut the head part of this off on the coupler to the actual fire hose itself. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with these have a liner in here. It's a heavy duty material. We'll see if we can cut this. Don't ever want to cut towards myself. I've got it. And here we go. No problem. And these are cut resistant gloves. They are Kevlar. So we'll just keep doing some cutting. And I am trying to protect my legs. That's why I've got the funky stance. This is the other side of the blade. You guys can see that we're just cutting right through this. Let's go ahead and see if we can rip it this way. And there it is, guys. And here's a close-up of that material. Almost looks like a Kevlar. I think it's just a cotton blend with glue in it. So far it's still holding up. 21829. Good to go. Say, well, how do they handle the heat? Or maybe you need to perform surgery or something and we need to sterilize it. So what we're going to do is, I can't believe I'm doing this, but why not? We've got some regular gasoline here. There it is. Let me get that out of the way. And here we go. We know this is going to burn off any oil or anything like that. But you know what? We need to roast the other side as well. Man, such a beautiful knife. It's got gas all over it still. Go back in the fire. 21829. And I want to see how the anodizing holds up. You know, a lot of people question the anodizing, the Cerakote. Let's see how it does. Let's go ahead and put the blade in here. All in the name of discovery, folks. All right, so that's about it with the fire. And I don't know if you guys can see this. It's still 21829. Didn't put it in there long enough to where it's going to mess up the tempering of the blade, but we are still good, even with no lubrication or anything like that. Like I said, this is really more to show that anodizing can actually take some heat. You might see some discoloration there, but it's wiping right off. Look at that, good as new. So because this is a double edge, but nothing's partial serrated and it's not an SC, it's going to be tough to baton through wood. So instead of batoning through wood, I have a 1x2 here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on time lapse. I'm just going to whittle through this using both sides of the blade. That way I'm fair to both sides. And we will check it for sharpness here at the end. So using that time lapse, you guys can see there, I used both sides of the blade. It was no problem, and that is still that 21829. After the fire test and cutting everything else, we'll see what else we can throw at it. So continuing with the test, I found a tire. It's a good sidewall, and what we'll do is we'll just cut through this and see how long it takes, and then maybe we can split the carcass across the top. What I'll do is I'll cut halfway one side and then halfway the other. Okay, so that's good enough that side. Now we'll use the top side and just rip up through here and unzip it. That's it, all the way through and through. Whew. Let's see if we can cut across it this way, across the belts. I don't know if this is going to be possible, but we'll try. All right, guys, so it's doing it, but it's whooping my butt while it's doing it. And remember, these are Kevlar gloves before anybody calls me out on it. So I think what we're going to do is put it on time lapse, pick up right here. That way I don't bore you guys with the details. All right, so this has whooped my butt, but what we're going to do, there it is, it's still working. I want you guys to come in and see how thick this tire is. Cutting through all those belts. They are fiberglass belts. You guys can see the relationship of that. That's cutting all the way through it. All right, let's do some more. Damn, that was tough. All right, guys, so this tungsten glass brake, anytime you hit a vehicle window, you want to do it in the corner. Unfortunately, this is all I have. This is the thick pane glass. It's the only thing that I can find. Just so you guys can see the relationship of the blade, this is not like a thick or a thin pane glass. So what I'm going to do is just pop it right here. I'm going to turn my head. No problems there. And some of you guys might say, well, you know, you can do that with anything. It's metal. What I'm going to use is I'll use the front of the anodizing. Not working. Same thing with the tungsten. There it is. So it shows you the difference of what that tungsten glass brake can do, having that ball in there on breaking glass. And here's where I impacted on the front. My finger's getting tired from cutting that tire. All right, let's do something else. So out the fronts have been known that when you start getting sediment or sand or anything like that inside of these, it can gum up the action. And I do realize that, and it might fail doing this test. However, if it does, just flush it out with water, then spray it with some rim oil, flood it, and then start actuating it, dry it out with compressed air, and you should be good to go. So let's go ahead and see. Guys, this is some really soppy mud. We've had a lot of rain here. I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in that mud like that. And then I am going to step on it so we can see it's completely submersed. And then what I'm going to do is I will pick it up, try to get any loose sediment out. We are still good to go. And this is still the serial number 21829. So any out the front that you carry in your pocket a lot is going to collect pocket lint, residue, maybe sand in your pocket, something like that. So what Microtech recommends is rim oil. You can use the aerosol or the liquid. And literally, I just took this out of that mud hole that you guys saw. I've done nothing to it. I've not washed it off. But what you're going to do is take it and you're just going to flood the inside of the knife, just like this. I mean, I flood it to the point where it starts coming out of the bottom. You also want to flood the switch mechanism here. This will not hurt the finish or anything else. And then what you want to do is flip it upside down, let it drain out, and then you want to actuate the knife a few times, just like this. Once you do that, you can flood it out again. Make sure you get the button area. And then I literally just take a microfiber cloth. I'll wipe this down. I'll hold it upside down. I'll work it a couple times. And guys, this is just like new again. You want to go ahead and get off any residual. And you guys can see that that Cerakote didn't do too badly. I think the aluminum made it look really poorly. But you guys can see right there, it's missing a little bit of Cerakote. You can see some off of the tip. But you also have to look at what we did with this knife today. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it straight to a paper test. Let me go ahead and clean this up somewhat. All right, guys, so it was cold out. We're going to go ahead and come inside and try to do this paper test. This is that 21829. Has not been sharpened in any way. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably not going to do too well, especially on that main cutting edge. It'll kind of rip through it. It's not crazy good, but now we'll try the top side. I tried to be fair. I went back and forth. So yeah, it'll definitely cut, but I can tell you that it feels a little dull right here, and I think that was probably from the aluminum test, but all in all, it held up really, really well. So if you're looking for a larger knife to carry that's out the front, then look no further than the Combat Troodon by Microtech Knives. They do come with their full lifetime warranty. And guys, it is a knife that will last you a lifetime. Like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the review. Have a good week.